Hi everyone, welcome to this week. For this week we're in week 5 and we're examining the role of the yield curve. For this week we're going to be looking at chapters 9 and 10 and you'll be taking quiz number 3. Quiz number 3, you're going to have just the same setup as before, 10 questions covering chapters 9 and 10. Now when you look at the yield curve, in some of the roles of financial assets, I should say, we have many different things we're going to focus on. For example, some of the important ones that we're focused on now in our economy: cash flow, currency, liquidity. All of those are looking at how viable it is for a firm to be open, to be established. What are some of the economic challenges they're facing? Now for this week, you're going to look at the role of bond pricing and how bond pricing is going to affect the maturity and the level of interest rates. So make sure to key in on that with your discussions. You'll notice that there's an inverse relationship between bond prices and bond yields. And you notice they move in inverse direction. So that's key to acknowledge in your analysis as well. Okay? So let's go to some of the quiz questions that you might see. Now, for this week, you're going to have 10 questions, as you always have, and it's going to be over these 2 chapters that we're covering this week. Now, first question is going to be looking at, relates to the minimum size in which a financial asset can be liquidated and exchanged for money. Question number 2. Although we use a single discount rate to discount each cash flow, there are theoretical reasons that suggest this is what? Is it practical? Is it suitable and appropriate? Those kind of things. Question 3. The blank is a financial asset to a change in the required yield will not be the same for all assets. So are we looking at sensitivity, indifference, or cash flow? Next question. For 2 bonds with the same maturity and with the same required yield, the lower the coupon rate, the greater the price responsiveness for a change in the required yield. What is this example of? Question 5 is going to be looking at which statement is false. So I'm going to give you 4 different statements. You acknowledge which one is false. Question 6 is looking at an interest rate and this level of interest rate and how it's determined. From a borrower or a debtor, lender, creditor, all those. So I'm going to be switching those terms up. Question 7 is going to be looking at debt-free default credit regulations and the differences between those. So what is the rate on a loan whose borrower will not default on any obligations? What is that rate called? Question 8. We're going to look at the difference between risk-free rate, short-term, real rate, long-term. What is this rate looking at on a loan that has 1 year to maturity? Question 9 is looking at the differences between income, price expectation, liquidity, and interest rate effect. It represents the initial reaction of an interest rate change to change in the money supply. In question 7, Treasury securities are used to develop the benchmark interest rates. There are 2 categories of U.S. Treasury securities. What are they? As you know, the quiz ends on Saturday. If you have any questions, let me know, but I look forward to your effort this week.